Rise up, the Dukes are back, and now it's time to rise up. The crew is back, and now it's time to rise up. The Dukes are back, and now it's time to rise up. Rise up, rise up. The Dukes are back, and now it's time to rise up. The crew is back, and now it's time to rise up. The Dukes are back, and now it's time to rise up. Rise up.
And we're back to another episode of the D's on Fire podcast, and the Dukes are still alive. Beat the Bonnies for the third time this year.
Broomsticks.
Yeah, I mean, I think we just had the more talented team than the Bonnies. I mean, our guards in particular. There's not many teams that are going to have better guards than us, but they took over. The announcers were talking about how it seemed like the Bonnies were a little fatigued and our guards were just able to drive by them. I think that was true. That double overtime game definitely left some effects there. And I mean, Trey Clark is freakishly athletic, so any advantage there is just going to be astronomical.
He was blowing by guys whenever he wanted, finishing at the rim. The dude did everything. I mean, he rebounded, assisted, scored.
I understand that Day is going to be the box scorer wonder, but I think Trey Clark showed that he was the best player, and he could very easily be the best player in the conference tournament this year. Like the MVP, it could very easily be his, especially with the revenge game in the championship tomorrow against his former team.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that.
That's
going to be nuts.
Didn't think about that in the post game presser, but Trey Clark was quick to add. I didn't forget that.
Oh God, oh man, I want to watch right now. That makes me so much more excited than I already was.
This is who I got to watch some of the game with today from home. My brother is going to possibly be at the game because he was in New York for the Big East tournament because one of his buddies lives up there. And so now they're calling an audible and possibly going to the game, depending on if they wake up early enough from my brother.
If they wake up early enough?
That's correct. That's what he said.
I'm pretty sure the game's at 1:00. Almost certain.
New York's the city that never sleeps, so I don't know how late they're planning on being out tonight.
Oh God. Yeah, that would be electric.
So, I mean, there's so many positives. Day was lights out. He did not take many dribble.
No, this is what I was talking about. He went 6 of 9 from 3, and like you said, most of them weren't dribble pull-up threes.
Yeah, with the exception being the most ridiculous shot I think anybody's going to see this year.
Yeah, the step through up and under from 3-point line
while tightrope walking the sideline.
Yeah, and I think you categorize that as a floater as well, potentially. That was kind of like a floater form. Insane shot at the shot clock buzzer. He was just as, you already said it, we probably both prefer Trey Clark's performance, but overall, like, you can't deny Day when he has these hot games. I said it during the game, like, it might not matter what else we do because he's that hot in this game.
I think I'm most surprised that they never adjusted to keeping a man on Day and letting the other guys beat them because they just kept leaving him open. I understand, like, you're trying to have a normal defense, but if a guy is that hot, you gotta adjust.
Yeah, he was, and he drove to the rim a few times, and he was throwing electric passes as well, like feeding guys down low. Both the guards have really stepped up in this A10 tournament. I mean,
DeMichael and Rozier also made shots when they were open.
They're playing their roles. I mean, everyone contributed. We needed everyone in this game, not just stellar performances from our two stars, but everyone's playing. Everyone's stepping up. It's great to see.
DeMichael also had the highlight spinorama layup. I think that was the second half. Definitely was second half.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which was really nice. Um,
I want to shout out Drame as well. I'm
yes,
looking at the box score right now. He'd had a goose egg, but that doesn't that doesn't tell the whole story, like him scoring no points. I think he was super important on defense. We talked about it in the Dayton game. The timing of his double teams are impeccable. He's just a smart basketball player, man. He does the dirty work, and you need a guy like that to win.
yeah, it did seem like Dambrot had a quick trigger with him and Dixon a little bit tonight or today, I should say. But I I still think Drame is our best four option, no question, especially with Trey out for probably the rest of the year, which sucks.
Really stinks.
Especially if they do actually win tomorrow,
But
because
he has a big part in this tournament.
no
Like
question. I mean, we do
we
not
don't beat
beat
Dayton
Dayton.
without him.
No.
No, not even close.
And he came back in after hurting that shoulder once and made a crucial play. And then that was the final straw of his shoulder. But like he literally gave up his entire body for that win.
This team has turned into and like so likable in this tournament. Like they're doing everything that their potential, like they're living up to the potential that they had.
They are playing A performance games. We had
Yeah,
not seen them up until the tournament. They played it at Dayton, against Dayton, and against the Bonnies tonight.
and they took care of St. Louis as well. I mean, that
Yeah.
was a 10-point game. It was they kind of got a little bit sloppy, but I mean, they were the better team still.
Yeah, I mean St. Louis, they played a little looser. It just seemed like every shot was a good shot selection today and against Dayton. Like they are maximizing everything they can.
Yep. They shot 50%, 51% from the field, 47% from three, which that might not happen again. So might need to tighten up in other places and maybe force more turnovers and get some easy buckets. But either way, I mean, and shot 85% from the line.
Yeah, I mean,
Like they played a perfect game offensively for them.
yeah, I guess the one area that there's improvement on, which is why it's not an A+ performance, the bigs offensively were rough today.
Yeah.
Defensively solid, offensively rough.
Yeah. And that's where Trey Williams' injury is gonna really hurt us because he was the one guy who wasn't afraid. Dixon can do it as well, but I don't get the minutes.
He was off today. He was off today. He had a quick Dambrot had a quick trigger with him. And I mean,
I guess you got to go with the hot lineup in tournament play. Like I kind of understand that, but I'm looking at the box score, 19 minutes, Horchich 16 minutes. That's got to be a bigger discrepancy. I'm sorry.
yeah.
And I get Natchez, I think he likes those lineups going small with Natchez out there because it spreads the floor and opened up that driving lane a few times for Trey Clark in particular.
Yeah, he did show that he's not a good defender against a powerful five today.
Yeah.
So that there is a weak point in that aspect, but Nate has provided solid minutes every time he's out on the floor. He is deadly as a spot up shooter if they leave him open. They didn't leave him open today, but he's made dagger shots.
Yeah, still scored 8 points. I mean, one of those was the dunk at the end, but got to the line 4 times.
Yeah,
made all four free throws.
All right, we've been agreeing too much. Let's get into the debate. That just should have 100% dribbled that out.
No,
Not just sportsmanship wise. They were letting you end the game. You take the end of the game. You don't need to give them that 1% chance of pulling off a miracle. Just end the game.
what was the score after that dunk? Was it a 10-point game? I don't remember off the top of my head.
I can't remember if it was 8 or 10. I think they won by 10, so I'm guessing it was 10.
I'm guessing it was 10 because then they hit a three right after that, and then I don't really remember what happened after that. I blacked out.
No, it was a blur. It was realization that, oh my God, we won. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, I can't. It's still not really fully hitting me that we are one win away. Like it is, but it's not.
And we beat VCU like during the regular season.
Yeah, they have Shulga back who put up 25 today to beat St. Joe's.
Trey's gonna lock him up.
Probably, but it's still a whole different dynamic. What we
No,
did,
you're right. You're right.
what we did doesn't matter. Oh my gosh. Um, VCU is dangerous. We have basically the entire A10 rooting for us though. Um,
Yeah.
because I mean, it'd be kind of rude not to at this point.
I got a text from someone I used to work with, and he is notorious for he's always shitting on the Eagles and giving me shit about the Phillies when they lose. Like he just is a Philly hater. But he was like really happy that Duquesne's winning and he's rooting for us tomorrow. So that gives you an idea of like even people who enjoy my misery actually want this team to win.
Yeah. Um, wow. Like this
Defense showed up.
defense has been locked in. Like that's the big thing with the focus. And they're blocking out. They're not letting up offensive rebounds. They're doing those things that we were complaining about all year last year. I mean,
Yep. They've actually like addressed the weaknesses.
they're
Kind of
driving
crazy
they're
concept.
driving to the basket to initiate the offense. Like every single complaint we had about what they weren't doing right last year, they're doing now.
I have no complaints other than I think the low post scoring could hurt us, but
Dixie,
if our guards get to the lane, then that'll make up for that. Like we can't fall in love with the three. Day had a really good shooting performance, but we can't
yeah,
just
play,
live at the three. That's not our game.
play within play within the flow of the game. Don't
Right.
force things.
Yeah.
Um,
But
I mean,
oh my God, we have a really serious chance. Like the bracket, and we fell on the probably the right side of the bracket as well, like in a weird way somehow.
that's tough
It
to.
going into the semifinal. No, I'm just acknowledging it. I'm not saying like
I I'm saying I'm disagreeing with that because the right side of the bracket was not Dayton.
I don't know. Richmond was
I
really good this year too.
we lost by one to them when we were in the middle of our funk.
I don't know.
I, it doesn't matter now, but no, I think we didn't really get too much luck. I guess Bonnie's is sort of a fortunate matchup just because we beat them twice before, but um I mean the St. Joe's VCU game was also great right before the Duquesne
Oh
game.
yeah, very good game.
Um our game was actually like the second biggest blowout slash non-competitive game of the tournament tonight, and I did not feel like it was a blowout. So that tells you how competitive the A10 tournament has been.
No, it wasn't a blowout. I probably people who aren't so as invested as us probably thought it was like comfortable, maybe. Like you could maybe argue that
Like
it was comfortable at points.
like sort of, but after the Bonnies had that like 9-0 run to cut it within four, uh,
Yes, yeah.
I
I was like, oh
and
God, not it.
that happened within like a minute and a half.
That's when buttholes clench.
So that was
Yeah.
because that happened. Like I guess casuals who tune in after that, who didn't see that, maybe thought it was comfortable, but I
I wasn't comfortable, but
no,
yeah, I would
I'm saying
could
even casual viewers, if they watched the whole game and saw that quick jump, might have been like, you never know.
yeah.
But
But I'm looking at Kempom right now. Defensive adjusted efficiency for the Dukes, 34th
in the
in
country,
the country. That's where our bread is buttered. We got to stick to the game plan. But these guys have the way they're playing basketball, they can beat pretty much anybody at this point.
yeah. Um, none of them sound like they're getting ahead of themselves either. I don't think they're. I think they are truly locked in.
They don't look scared
No,
either. Like they just don't it's crazy. I'm really shocked at the mental toughness of this team because I didn't there were I complained about it during the regular season. They were chokers at a lot of points in the season.
and I told you what after we went 0-5, regular season doesn't matter. They just need to focus on playing their best basketball.
You did say that right after that you said it pretty much every podcast.
And that's what they did. Dan Brott said they learned how to win. They learned what a winning mindset is. And my God, if this isn't a winning mindset, I don't know what is. But Jimmy, I mean, within the first 5 minutes, I realized he's the best player on the floor. No question. He
Yeah.
had he was doing everything. Assists, steals, blocks, rebounds, getting to the basket when he wanted to, making some
18.
absurdly acrobatic layups today too.
Yeah. Yeah. 18 points, 8 boards, 6 assists, 3 steals, 1 block. No turnovers. He had 4 turnovers against Dayton.
Which we talked about really like two, but
Yeah. But 0 turnovers. Uh Day 6 of 9 from 3, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Like 3 assists is a lot in college basketball. He's throwing dimes as well.
100% from the free throw line.
Yep. 1 for 1, but yes.
Oh, can we talk about one of the other minor things that continues to gripe me? Why is Day inbounding the ball at the end of the game situation? Like, you have the third best free throw shooter in the country, and you're taking any chance of him shooting the free throws out of the equation.
Yeah, that was it's weird.
It's been a thing that we've talked about all
And
year.
then yeah, it's and then
They always inbound
when
it to Dixon. Now it's Netchus, but it's still inbounding to a big instead of.
and at times it was Rozier who was inbounding the ball and
You know,
like in clutch situations and like he can barely see over the dude who's in front of him. So
I mean, he had Jimmy do the inbound from the sideline.
yeah, yeah.
I think Jimmy would be a better inbounding option than Day personally, but it's these are minor things, but these minor things could be all the difference in the world, which is why I'm
Either Jimmy or Fusini. Like I feel like Fusini's kind of a solid. He's not like unlocking any doors and open sort of play, but I trust him to make the correct decision.
yeah. Trying to. I mean, the only other minor gripe that's not really a minor gripe to us, but we kind of have to accept that it's not changing, especially with Trey Williams out. Savrasov, he needs to play some minutes. Like there was a consistent lack of an attack from a big guy. He provides that. He's played solid defense. He is a stretch four, and he can
He's
be
got a bit of a post game.
and he can be a five. And he runs better than Mahorcic. I really don't understand what Dambrot sees, but it's becoming more and more aggravating the more I see Mahorcic play.
It is. Maybe I'll go look at the plus minus. I'm kind of scared too, but I feel like anytime he's on the floor, and they have the other team has a good post player, which Bonnies do, Dayton did. He kind of just gets eaten alive down there on the defensive end.
Yep, Benning rocked the baby on us, and I mean nobody could stop Duran, but
yeah, no one can stop him. Be fair, but he was really like in his bag when Mohoric is on the floor. Unfortunately,
do you want to?
I think he's got a solid offensive game. Like he can finish sometimes. He can like his touches in and out. He did have a nice pass out of the post to Natchez.
Yeah, but
he's a pretty good passer out of the post, but it's not it's juice isn't worth the squeeze.
he looks so much stronger than he plays.
Right.
He continually gets out muscled, and I mean, it looked like he was trying to draw calls early on this game, which this was just not the game for you to do that.
They kept the whistles in their pocket this game,
And
which
to
it
be
was
fair,
it was lovely to watch.
as long as they're consistent on both sides, I'm fine with it. If you're going to call a tight game on both sides, fine. If you're going to call let the boys play game on both sides, fantastic. As long as you're not doing 30 fouls to one team, 10 to another. In that case, I'm going to be a little ticked off.
Yeah. 100%. And DeMichael, 5 of 7 from the field.
So
12
solid.
points.
Great defense.
Great defense.
Like
so aggressive, like not afraid of anybody, not afraid of the stage as a true freshman. Walk on. This team has turned into a classic March Madness Cinderella story, honestly.
with
Like
Dambrot possibly coaching his last season, possibly fulfilling the promise that he made to bring his father who passed away team back to the NCAA tournament like he set out, and that's why he joined the team in the beginning. They touched on it, and then they touched on LeBron with like 10 seconds left in the game. I thought we were going to go an entire game without him being mentioned, but they did.
That's actually good for them. Like because for us, they're beating a dead horse, but um, that's kind of crazy that they waited that long. I even think about that.
Yeah. And it does turn out that LeBron was watching the game live. He posted it on his story before a team meeting today. So he had that game on and was watching. So, I mean, LeBron, if you want to watch Duquesne play consistently, there's two college players. Well, one college player, one soon to be college player that I'm sure we could find roster spots for. Just
Right.
throwing it out there.
And maybe a transfer if like, the NBA prospect doesn't really work out and not getting
Yeah.
enough play time and all that stuff.
I mean, I'm sure he wants to be his own player. He doesn't want to rush things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to rush his development.
Yeah. So, oh, I mean, I I'm a lot calmer than I was after the game. This is probably 3 hours post the game wrapping up. Just 2 hours, maybe.
2 hours, 5:30. It
Yeah.
ended 7:30 now as we record.
But towards the end of the game, like I understand as a player, you're kind of just calm because you can just focus on the moment. As a coach, I can't imagine what you're going through because as a fan, I'm wired.
I was standing like
I
the
was
last
too.
3 minutes,
Yeah.
which you saw me you were there when Eagles won the Super Bowl. I was standing like the entirety of after Zach Ertz scored the go ahead touchdown. Like
Yeah,
that's how important this game was.
I was too during that game. I was just standing on the stairs because I
You were banished for jinxing purposes, which are absolutely real.
100%, which is why I can never say that a game is over until it's
No.
over.
Yeah.
And even then, I wait until there's no chance of a review or anything.
Right.
I
Quick shout out to Dan Brought's wife battling breast cancer, able to go to the game, enjoying like watching this team as well. That's just really cool. Just
yeah,
a cool story.
her first game of the whole year was the St. Louis game, and
Yep.
she's been there. And then next to her was his daughter Alyssa, who is one of the Duquesne Twitter fans. There's not many of us, but damn it, we're coming out of the woodwork now.
Yeah.
The "Let's Go Dukes" chant towards the end of the game too. Like I was joining along with them, and I'm in my house by myself, basically, just chanting along with them. Uh, it's it's really special. I can't imagine being somebody who did live through the glory years that waited basically 50 years for this team to be in this situation.
No doubt. Yeah, almost 50 years. It's insane. One more game and this team can do it. They've showed nothing, no reason why they can't do it.
Oh, I I just it's really that close. It's it's that close. I mean, if they do get in the tournament, I pray to God they play in Pittsburgh because then I can definitely go to the game. But even if they're not in Pittsburgh, I mean, I might call an emergency day off work or something and just figure out a way.
Same. I probably would too. If it was in Pittsburgh, like do we know
Well,
like
we
region
don't
wise? Like is there I don't know how they pick regions for all of these things.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like they sometimes take proximity into account with some of like the smaller schools.
Okay.
But I don't know, man. It's gonna
It's a
be
crapshoot.
yeah, but uh not focused on this, but we've definitely cemented our place in the NIT at this point. Which is also great because it's been I don't even know how long 2009 maybe since we played an NIT game.
Right. Yeah.
So meaningful postseason basketball. Dan brought cementing his legacy as one of the all-time great Duquesne coaches this run. Wow. What a year it's been.
One more win. We're not satisfied. Not
No,
satisfied.
definitely
This
not.
team can do it.
But wow.
But yeah, you got to give them a little bit of flowers. We haven't seen this since 2009, like you said. So that's a really long time ago. Like the Phillies won a World Series the year before that.
Oh, 50. Yeah, the Steelers were in Super Bowls back then.
Yeah. They won 2008, right? Or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was their last Super Bowl win. Yeah.
2008 was a great year for both of us.
It was. Oh, and man, sports have really gone downhill since then.
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't that Packers loss, but I think that was
No, that's
10.
2010. Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks for throwing that in there. Also, shout out Justin Fields, new Pittsburgh Steeler.
Shout out Kenny Pickett, new bird.
Yeah, you guys somehow I think you traded more for Pickett than we did for Fields somehow.
Yeah, I didn't really I'm sure you know the trade details. What are the
Yeah, I
picks
do.
involved?
So you guys gave up your third this year. We gave up our fourth and then Pickett, and then you gave us 2 7th-round picks.
Yeah, that feels like a fleecing by you guys. That's kind of how I felt at the moment. I mean, you need a decent backup quarterback nowadays, and
Yeah.
the Eagles have prioritized that. But
Yeah, you've got
still, that
Josh
does
Gibson
kind of feel like
for 2 years. And then we gave up a sixth with conditionally to be a fourth, depending on playing time. So if he starts the full year, basically he'll be a 4th-round pick. But if he
the
doesn't,
full year. It has to be the
I don't
full
know.
year.
I don't know about the percentages, but
Definitely not full year for a
the base
backup.
is a sixth. So if he's a backup like Kenny is this year, we gave up a sixth for Fields as our backup.
Yeah,
I'm
arguably starter.
I'm 1,000% on board for that. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
arguably starting next year.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm perfectly fine with Omar Khan's movements this offseason. That does solidify that the Bears are probably taking Caleb Williams.
You think?
Yeah, just maybe. Commanders, you're gonna have to offer a crap ton for that guy. Good luck.
Yeah.
One game away. This time tomorrow we'll be talking either really positively or really downtrodden. But either way, oh, I can't wait for it. I cannot wait for this game.
Yeah. I'm looking at the numbers as we're talking here, and VCU's offense is pretty good, it looks like.
They've got
Like solid. It's
they've
like
got
it's not crazy, but it's not, you know.
their two best players are definitely Bamasil and Shulga.
Right.
We shut Bamasil down pretty well last game. And like you said, we throw Trey Clark on Shulga. I'm pretty confident in how that's going to go. But I don't know. It just
Yeah. Got to keep it up.
I mean, I'm not going to be most confident for the championship game.
100%. Yeah.
I was having nightmares of St. Louis, who had won like 3 or 4 conference games all year before our game against them. So there's no way I'm going to feel the most confident going into the championship. But at the same time, I'm confident in these players to be playing a great game.
The way they're playing, like I said, I mean, they can absolutely beat anyone right now. They're playing pretty much perfect college basketball.
Yeah, and they're playing their style too.
For their style, exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
It'll be exciting. Either way, we'll have a very entertaining podcast tomorrow, I feel like.
Oh, definitely. Do we start it? Do we go live? You think I don't know what to do, but I feel like that's how we almost have to do that. Like
I don't know.
Get the true reactions, but at the same time, oh my god, do I have to just be by my computer watching this game? I'm gonna be standing up. I'm gonna be pacing. I don't know if that's gonna translate well.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can do it. Because I'll be watching with Emily, who also went to Duquesne, so she also wants to watch this game with me, and I don't know if she wants to be on camera at all.
That's fair. Should we give her shine on her great comparison for Doosan to the listeners?
Yeah, sure. You can say.
The white Eastern European version of Darius Lewis. Shout out to you, Darius.
Shout out. All-time Duke player who couldn't
Also,
really catch a basketball.
who we interacted with a lot in towers.
Yep. She talked to him a few times, she said, and I didn't because he kind of stunk. But it's fine.
Great teammate for Eric James. Shout out to Eric James. Another great former Duquesne Duke that also interacted with us a bunch in towers. I don't really know of any others really that
reliving the great ones.
Yeah. I did before I realized who Derek Coulter was get challenged to basketball with Derek Coulter one summer when I was playing on the outdoor court, not realizing who he was.
God bless your soul.
Luckily, I
can't believe you're still standing here.
Luckily,
today.
He just came from practice and we couldn't play. But I was gonna naively say, yeah, sure, man. But yeah, that would have been horrendous.
That's funny.
I would have been the one with the shredded meniscus.
Oh yeah. Yep.
All right. With that, go Dukes.
Go Dukes. Let's go.
One game left.
The Dukes are back and now it's time to rise up. Rise up.